All right, welcome back. Game number 2 in this best of 3 today. It's for the IEM Shenzhen qualifiers and spawning here towards the south. Actually, let me just, there we go. It's going to be Team Liquid's blue Zerg player Snute.
In the top position as the purple Terran, Goody.
Okay, so Snute, I mean, that was an interesting attempt at a strategy, right? That's something where I don't think he just pulled it out of his ass because he's like, YOLO, I'm in a tournament. Like, that's the type of thing I imagine he practices on ladder a couple of times, hits maybe a couple of Barca mech players, and it works. But Goody is, as much as everyone likes to kind of make a joke out of him for what he is and the way he plays, Goody's actually pretty damn good at the game. In fact, I think it was like Kane who, although usually sarcastically, non-sarcastically said, like, he admires the way that, like, Goody plays. It's stupid and it's ridiculous, but it works almost every time. I think the downside, though, is mech's got a lot of openings that, they're hard, like, or not a lot, that's the wrong way to phrase it. Mech doesn't have a whole lot of openings, but the openings they have are very, like, you topple the army once early, you're going to just keep snowballing for the rest of the game. You get through their production quickly, you get around with mutalisks. I mean, there's not a lot of situations where you're concretely like A counters B or anything like that. But there's so many situations where I think Zerg are the ones who, they've got the capability to really just dance around it, you know? You don't always have to get caught in that vice of, like, the 40-minute games of slow tank pushes and whatnot, but at the same time, I don't know if Snute's really, on this map especially, going to be able to pull off one of those all-ins that would stop Goody early on.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to ask, because I do feel like it's up to the Zerg player to, you know, either win the 40-minute game or, like, stop the 40-minute game from even happening, or hour-long game from happening, but to do it versus someone who usually opens with tanks and, yeah, just has to cover one ramp on a specific map, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. It's possible. I mean, he's going to get better scouting, potentially, than last game, because that is one problem that I saw, and I thought I was a little surprised. So, like, he gets, like, the lings that they don't end up getting the command center, which, you know, that was already kind of a sucky opener for Snute. But then he gets the lings to kind of perfectly counter that one push, and I thought, hey, things are looking up, and then everything else kind of, you know, went its way. But all that time, he really never sent the Overlord in. I mean, even, I think by the first, like, real mech push, I think I checked his base, and he still didn't, like, actually, like, go in and see, like, what exactly was brewing. So, I mean, that could have definitely been better, although you could have just guessed, obviously, that Goody was going to go mech. It's still nice to see exactly what he has. Like, is the starport up? Is the tank push coming? Like, whatnot.
Well, I think, I don't know for sure if this factored into the last game, but again, Iron Fortress is a map that you kind of almost cut mutalisks out of your tech path. There's just no real good way to use them. Coming to Van Eye, suddenly this is an option more than available to you. Plenty of space all around the bases.
Yeah, that's true. And mutas, besides just being potentially good units in general, also just something that provides you scouting and control of the game, which, yeah, maybe Snute felt like he couldn't start out with because of the map. That's certainly possible. But Van Eye would be the opposite, right? It'd be like the map that you love to go mutas on.
Oh. Pandarati, by the way. I love this guy's name just because I look at it and I think of, like, a mix of, like, Desro and his panda, like, outfit in Rotterdam. But Pandarati with a $50 donation says, great casting as always. Hope you guys get to go to Home Story Cup. Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's, again, so just so people know what that's all about. We're going to try and just create this one big donation we can give the Home Story Cup Indiegogo to get to that point, rather than advertise, just straight up advertising the Indiegogo. It doesn't seem to be getting much traction, but I think if we run the fundraiser, I think we could do it. I'd love to go to Germany. I'd love to have the opportunity to meet some of our European fans who can't afford to come to our live event in Toronto.
We've never organized something like this because, like, who wants to come to America, right? Am I right?
Well, it's Canada, but
whatever. But, like, you know,
such an American response. Whatever, same difference.
Yeah, other country, whatever. But, like, you know, I always wondered, like, how this is really gonna work out. You know, like, what if we made the goal on the last day? Wouldn't that be like June 25th or something? Like, And they have like a week to get us like a plane ticket and like a hotel and stuff. Like, does that actually work? I have no idea. I always figured you had to book long in advance.
So here's the way I look at it, right? There's still other tier rewards on that Indiegogo for Take TV.
Yeah.
If we help push ours sooner, it just means there's a better chance even the higher ones get reached. So it's not like it wouldn't be like a waste, quote unquote, if we would have like gotten there anyways. I think it just helps contribute further to another great content creator.
Well, that's not what I was saying at all. I just meant like I was thinking like logistically, that's logistics, whatever. Like how having a Kickstarter that late works. Like, cause I get plane tickets like a month out, like a month plus out.
I have no idea either, but we'll tackle that challenge when it presents itself. Now this time around, Snute doesn't have a lot of lings to dance with, but he does have a lot of roaches. So I don't know. Clearly, was listening to the VOD and was like, "That zombie girl knows what she's talking about." Not that I'm the best Zerg player in Europe or anything like that.
I know, right?
Actually, what I really like is the heavy queen count. Look how many... He's still going 3 more queens behind this. This almost seems ridiculous, but where he was struggling last time was, you know, okay, clean up some of the tanks, deal with the Thor push, Hellions, whatever, but he never really had an easy time dealing with the Banshees. With this many queens plus potential transfuses, man, first of all, I want Snute to Nidus Worm just because of the amount of queens he has, but secondly, the amount of transfuses is going to let him push through later on too, which is really, I think this is going to be wonderful to watch. Plus, crazy creep spread. You got, like, what, 7 queens on the map? Good luck, have fun.
Yeah. I think this is a much better way to go in the Swarm hosts, if that is still his plan, is to really make these Swarm hosts work, because, like, someone bet on, like, $100, like, make Swarm hosts work.
I actually think Swarm hosts in small amount, like 4 to 8, could work out really well on this map, just because of the way you can abuse that natural ledge.
Yeah.
But that's something for later. We'll see if that comes into effect. Right now, he does have to worry about the Banshees. People are asking about the bets. They are closed at this point. 10,077 to Snute, 6,900 to Goody.
Okay, all right. Well, the infestation bit did finish, but nothing on the production tab yet. Snute's waiting for something. Let's see the competition or... Alright, well, 12 drones are made, and yeah, Locust upgrade. Alright, so this is why, like, there's 2 reasons why this is a better, I think, game already for going into Swarm Host and kind of experimenting with Swarm Hosts. One, as Rickon pointed out, there are better harassment opportunities on this base. Like, you really do just, like, go to their gold base, launch the,
Yoink!
Not the interceptors, the Locusts.
It might as well be interceptors.
I mean, right? They're kind of close. And you get the command center, potentially, especially if they're not paying attention. Those things do a lot of damage quickly.
There's not only that, but also you can get the production lines from down here. Swarm hosts are very fast above ground now, so they are real hit-and-run units.
Yeah,
but
yeah, they're pretty good.
They're also, as we saw, very expensive still. The pricing on them I don't think really matches their new role. They're kind of hard to use, and obviously not the best defense. I think it's one of those things where, rather than get them at 120 supply and try and work with them from there, get them at like 180 supply once you're like kind of maxed out in a situation where you can fight the game a little bit better.
Well, like either way, as long as you have units that are going to be able to prepare for a push that is that could or could not happen depending on the mech player you're facing, I guess. They could be the type to wait to 200 and then go ahead and get your Swarm host really early, or they could be the type to push before 200 and then, you know, maybe hold off while you get roaches first. But just simply having the Roach Warren and any amount of roaches to tag and scout and walk away is so much, like, safer of a game than depending on lings and hoping those will buy you time when, you know, 6 Blue Flame Hellions come in as their normal production cycle and absolutely wreck you. Like, I didn't see how he thought he was going to be safe that last game. And going into roaches, like, first against mech has always been, you know, the safest way to go. You know, even if you're going to go into the old Swarm host, you'd always have to be a little careful that they didn't do a push prior to that where you needed roaches as soon as freaking possible. Like, they're going to be your emergency units to make, not lings, not usually. So, as you see, Goody's pushing out. He's at 150. It's a pretty common mech push. Now, the Swarm hosts may or may not be helpful here. What's going to be a lot more helpful than lings is going to be at least, like, a ton of roaches. And this is actually a mostly hellbat composition, too.
There's a lot of spine crawlers, though. I mean, this is an unconventional defense out of Snute, but with a lot of queens, transfuses, spine crawlers. I mean, I want to see this work, Zombie Girl, but it's so weird. It's Some Locusts have got to get on the action soon, though. They can't really wait too much longer. Going to fly to the back end and go directly for the tanks and the Marines. I like that choice quite a bit. Queens have dealt with the Hellbats. They're still standing. And these tanks, well, they're still alive too is the problem. What's better, transfuses or tank damage? And I think tank damage is going to win out most of the time.
Now this is where Ling's butt help, but Snute supply blocks.
Oh, let's put some drones on. Oh, this is cool.
It's working out. Now the Locusts are going to rearm, I think, like soon for some people.
No. It's like a good 15 seconds still. But I mean, look at this traded out pretty well. Snute's actually ahead in army supply in a big way. Plus, he's on 96 drones. Just in every way possible, Snute's ahead right now. But the problem is, as we see, just by having that supply advantage, it's these units with a ridiculous cooldown. They can't attack again anytime soon.
Yeah.
Helling's running by, trying to clean up some of the drones. Sitting on 90 workers, it's really going to be hard to really shut this down. The amount of queens, though. I mean, this is... How many queens is this right now? It's like 13 queens and 12 swarm hosts. That's Snute's army. WTF.
He's trying to like make the swarm host style work and not just like harassment, but actually going there fairly quickly.
I like that he only used about half. He still knows where his priorities are, and it's to get across and harass his opponent. You're going to see missile turret shoot locusts. This is going to be an oddity. But hey, it works. Push over here, trying to get some stuff done, but the spy car is actually holding pretty damn well. Same with the Locust coming from the behind, so the cavalry does arrive. Snute's going to have to once again worry about the left side of the map, but not for the Locust. Clean up a good chunk of the SCVs here in the natural.
More spawn crawlers going down. Always more spine crawlers.
You know, it sounds silly, but Snute, every time we cast him and he has this drone count, he ends up having like a 5k mineral bank that he doesn't use. Why not invest in the static defense? Even if it gets torn down, it buys time. It's better than dying with 5k minerals in your bank. I mean, I actually really like this. It sounds so silly, but I really like the spine crawler versus mech. Am I saying that for real?
Well, it seems a lot like the old way to play swarm hosts. I just think that having enough roaches in position also would have taken care of that. So either one.
You just put down that line of spines and spores. You have the, instead of the constant aggression through swarm hosts, a much more delayed aggression. But if anything, I think it still has that same end-ish result. But this is getting a little bit ballsy. He's got no vision coming across the map like this. He could be walking into a siege line for all he knows. But instead, oh no!
What are you doing? You don't think that close? Jeez.
I don't know. That was all kinds of awkward. I can't explain what Snute just did. I thought he was going to focus on the planetary too, but he ends up going for a couple of tanks. Not a terrible choice. Problem comes into this, still lots of queens. Now this shouldn't be an issue normally, but if Snute has 19 queens, right? He's got more than 19 queens. Let's say this is like almost zombie grub, like 2v2 strategies here.
Hey.
He's going to have so much transfuse potential that even if he only has like 5 or 6 real units, they shouldn't die.
No.
Oh no, but everything's off creep. Oh, run, girls, run! Oh god!
I still don't know if enough chance. Like, there's.
She gave her life for her sister.
Yeah, but like it's transfuses that are gonna have to buy literally a minute of time where most of the locusts respawn. I mean, Snute's best bet is to stagger. I think the locusts.
Okay, so by the way, shout out. Someone donated $3, but I think they did it wrong because they said from base straight TV and didn't put any information. But thank you. Locusts are just gonna get right up in their face. They're not even gonna get a chance to waste it. Surrounds the Thor entirely. Get her done.
Cool. Oh, good. That's just the slow queen march. Dun, dun. And as long as he's the one attacking, then Snute is he's totally in control.
Can't repair this. Are you serious?
Oh man, like this, they have stupid damage, really.
Okay, so the queen.
Right, but here's where things go wrong. Yeah,
but,
this is actually a big deal. That's a lot of queens.
But that's the thing. It frees up supply, right? Like it sounds silly to say.
For what?
I don't know. Vipers, anything he wants, really.
Apparently.
I mean, he used all the energy. He's got the creep spread. He killed the 4th. I'd say mission accomplished with the queens, and the resources lost aren't looking too shabby either. Let's see, what does the defense look like? Oh my god. More spines.
Yeah, more spine crawlers. More spines, more good. But it's gonna get awkward again once he has to, like, the locusts are gonna be able to clean up most of the stuff. There's not enough hellbats. I mean, this is like, it's similar problems to, like, what you would deal with others, like the the old Swarm host, just like in slightly different ways.
So, here's one of the things I kind of wish we'd see more out of Goody, though. These locusts are proven to be a problem, absolutely. But they're light units with not much health, and they clump in the air. I think the Thors shouldn't be running. They should probably stay on the ground when they've got some distance. Now, obviously, with Snoot's immediately pops off like a quarter of them. But by withdrawing like this over and over, it's just giving Snute free damage. So I don't know if Goody just hasn't recognized this, or if he's not had to deal with it because everyone just stopped going Swarm Host, right? Nobody's done Swarm Host. He hasn't had to practice against it because these are bad units. But either way, Snute is still taking better into this trade every time they engage.
Yeah. But still, he's pulling queens out of like everywhere apparently. Like, 4 queens go down, 4 queens are made.
Yeah. Just want to point out the effectiveness too of the Hellbats on top of the Thors. Both of them deal bonus damage versus light. One to air, one to ground, of course, and both of them annihilate that count. Now, the problem is tanks, but Snute went for some Vipers, so all he has to do is abduct the tanks into the Spine Crawler. Bob's your uncle, you're good to go. There's no Vikings here, actually.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Oh, Blind Cloud's working out, too.
God, they were good. They were amazing.
Those were,
they covered, like, the entire
those were fantastic. He's still grabbing them. He's not done yet.
Oh.
GG. Oh. Snute, ladies and gentlemen, makes it work with mass queens and swarm hosts.
All right.
Now, it's nice to chuckle and make some